Okay, so this is lesson 6, and here we're going to go and we're going to start going from this 507 observation database at the department level down to our 50 counties. Okay. To begin with, what I want to do is I want to start a new database with those 50 counties, and so we're going to use this FIPS code, which is a governmental identification kind of variable for each of those individual counties. So apparently every county in the United States has its own FIPS code, and we can get data from this. We can import data using that FIPS code later. I'm going to show you how to do that. To begin with, I'm going to go to Analyze Reports. I'm going to do Case Summaries, and it's already in there, but let me reset. I'm going to do the county label. I want this County 1 label. I'm going to combine it by the FIPS code, so I'm going to group it or gather it by the FIPS code. I'm going to do the statistics. I don't want the number of cases. In this case, I would just want the minimum value. It's a string, and strings are weird, so I'm just going to put the minimum value in there and see if it works. And let's run that and see what it does. Okay, so see what it did. It went out and it took that FIPS code and it returned the minimum value. It wouldn't matter if you did the maximum value because they're all coded the exact same, but it's just a quick trick of allowing me to use SPSS to kind of export these into the same in the same format. One thing that I think you'll notice here, and something we need to fix really quickly, is you see how some of these go beyond the width of that cell? You can, just like when you click on, I'm going to show you how to do, I'm going to show you how to edit figures and tables later, but you can click on this and it'll pull up that table in an editor, and if you move that cursor over that right edge and kind of drag it out a little bit, that's all you need to do. So then once you get that done and you close that, you'll go, and this is kind of a table. All right. So we should have our 50 different counties. All right. And the next thing I need to do is I need to export this. So let's right click, export. I'm going to do this selected because it's just the one I selected. I'm going to export it as the Excel 97-2004, that .xls file. I'm going to browse to my desktop, and I'm just going to call this 6123, and I'm going to say county level, CTY level, and I'm going to start building databases like this. Okay. Okay. And it'll run there really quickly. I'm going to minimize that. I should have a new file down here somewhere. Actually, it's all the way up here. I'm going to open that, and just like what we did last time, let that thing run a little bit. We're going to have to change this slightly. We're going to need to get rid of that delete. To get rid of those top cell entries, we're going to select the whole sheet. We're going to get rid of the conditional or these kind of border observations, so no borders. Next thing, I need to go to the bottom and I need to get rid of that, so delete that, and lo and behold, I've got this one. I'm going to format the cells as text. I'm going to format this set of cells as text as well. It should already automatically do that, but you never know. And I'll make that right hand, and we're good. And notice we have 50 counties at this level. I'm going to save that file. I'll be coming back to it in a little bit. And so I'll just delete it and close it out for now. Okay. The next thing I want to do is I want to use that Analyze Reports value to pull together several bits of information. One thing I'm interested in is the number of stations. I'm going to start collecting dependent variables, not the information necessary to do the dependent variables. I thought about doing number of incidents per firefighter, but I think the actual more reliable way to do this would be the number of incidents per station. I think there's probably less change, and that census data is probably more accurate on the number of stations than it is on the number of firefighters at any given time. So I'm going to create a dependent variable eventually that's going to have number of incidents per number of stations. Okay. So I'm going to use Analyze Reports again. Analyze Reports, case summaries. And let's reset this. And this is not going to be too hard. Let's get rid of the department cases and everything else. This is going to be the numerator of a dependent variable at some point. I'm also interested in the number of stations. That's going to be the denominator for our dependent variable at some point. I'm also going to be interested in these two variables because those are the ones where I'm going to actually, I don't want that one. Let's go back. This was just the whole number, right? Number of possible departments for our sample. And I'm going to do the number of departments reporting and use both of those. Okay. In this statistics, what I'm going to do, I don't want the number of cases. What I want it to do is I want it to go through and combine all those for the sum, essentially. Continue. And I'm going to group this or gather all that information on the FIPS code. So essentially what this command is telling it to do is it's going to say take these four variables and you're going to sum every observation where the FIPS code is the same, if that makes sense. And it will once we see it kind of run. Just click OK. And this is what we got. So it went out there for every FIPS code, all of our 50 codes, right? It went out there and it gathered together all the number of incidents. It gathered together the number of stations. It gathered together the possible number of departments that met our original criteria. And it gathered together the number of departments that actually reported incidents. And so that is our variable. That is our next level dependent variable information. Okay. So again, let's export this. Export. I'm going to export the selected into an Excel 97 2004.xls. I'm going to browse out there on the disk and I'm going to say pols 6123 dash, this is going to be DV info, dependent variable information. Click OK, save it. And let's minimize both of those. Okay, so I've got two bits of data here. I've got that county level identifier that I just kind of opened up. Let's open that one up. So I went out and I created the FIPS code for those 50 counties, right? And I cleaned up that data. I need to do the exact same thing to this other file. So let me go out here. We've got those top level kind of information. Let's delete those out. Let's select the whole thing. Let's get rid of all the borders. No borders. Let's get rid of this total line. Delete. Okay. Now, I'm going to do a quick shortcut here. I'm going to select this information. It should be organized all on that FIPS code. So I'm just going to select copy. I'm going to minimize this one and I'm going to go back and I'm going to go get that county level data over here. And I'm going to go to that top cell. I'm going to right click and I'm going to just paste it all in. Okay. Now, one thing I want to do very quickly. Yeah, let's just go out here. Let's format. Let's auto fit the column width so that we know that we have all this information. Okay, good. I already set these as text files. Format cells. I think I did those as text already. Yeah, they're okay. I'm going to format this one as text as well. Notice it put those little things in there, and if you look at those, it'll say number stored as text. That's okay. If we don't save it as text, we lose that leading zero, and if you lose that leading zero, we won't be able to import that data later. So it's important that we have that. Number of incidents, number of station, all of those are numbers, and it doesn't matter if they have decimals in them or not. It's just good. Okay. Now, one thing I want to make sure of is that I cut and paste this at the same kind of level, right? So that I know that these match up. There's a simple string file that you can do. Let's just do equal match. And I'm gonna see if that original column, that A2, matches this column. And if it does, let's copy down. I'm gonna copy that formula all the way to the bottom. Oh, let me paste it, see if that works. Okay, so all that did is it matched every row all the way down, and if they do match up, then it says it'll return a 1 in that value. To make sure that all of them are there, I can go up here and I can just execute a really quick, I should be able to put a quick formula in here, auto sum. So if it goes up to the top, and lo and behold, we have a 1 in each one of those, and we have 50. All right. Now I can't have that in this data because I'm going to get ready to import this somewhere else, but let's go ahead and delete it. It's just a quick cross-check that you can do in order to make sure that you have cut and paste your data correctly. So that equal match formula works really well. All right. I'm going to delete that variable information because it was kind of superfluous. I'm going to delete that second FIPS code because we don't really need it. And so after this, I'm going to save this one again. So now my county level data has not only the county label in it, but it has the number of instances, number of stations, departments, and departments reporting. Actually, let's go through and look real quick. We missed 3 different counties, and so by looking at it at this level, we know that Nassau County, which I assume is Florida somewhere, Suffolk, which I'm not sure where that is, and Allegheny, which is Pennsylvania, it's Pittsburgh. So those are the three. Those are the 3 that ended up not reporting through the NFIRS system. Okay, so I had to come back and make a slight adjustment to this video. So in the previous version, I asked you guys to save it as a comma delimited file. But the problem there is no matter how I had this column set up, whether I had it identified as text or numeric or whatever else, the movement between an Excel sheet and the comma delimited text format was dropping the zeros from this FIPS score. Because the FIPS score is the means in which we're going to match and import other data, we can't have that. So I'm going to end at this point now, and let's just save this data as an XLS file. Okay, so I'm going to go up here. I'm going to hit File, Save As. County level's fine. You can do 97-2004 XLS and save it to the desktop. I've already got it there, so it's going to ask me to replace. And that pretty much ends this video. We're going to work forward. We're going to take this 50 counties data and we're going to use this FIPS code to import some other important data that's going to be your independent variables for the project. We're running out of time on the video, so I'm going to end here and pick up lesson 7 in just 1 second.